right, good afternoon, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to Tips from Elaine's Desk. Elaine Proby here, CEO of PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, and Tips from Elaine's Desk. All right. Hey, Joan, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for jumping on here. It's always lovely to see you on immediately. I love it. So hit like and share on this video, guys. Today's conversation is going to be really sweet. 3 personal finance tips. I love this because when we talk about this stuff, I'm speaking to myself as well as to you guys out there. Okay, so the whole idea is about your finances. It's about, making money and how you spend money and how much money you keep, what you do with that money, how you invest that money. This is the whole thing. And just for us to be a lot more conscious, because at the end of the day, we all need to make sure that we're financially, secure. So let's jump right into these points today, guys. And the first point is, I love this. It's called financial fasting. This is beautiful. Financial fasting. Now, you know how it is when we fast and we go without food or whatever for a period of time. Well, I'd never thought about this one, but I think this is really, really cool. So it's going without spending, say for a week, for a month. Put yourself on a time frame. It doesn't have to be long. I think we can start it maybe just for a week or maybe a month at a time, and see how well we can apply ourselves to only spending money on what is absolutely necessary. All of our necessities. This means not going out there and buying anything that we don't need, Joan. Not too much of anything that is not important, is not necessary right at the moment. And I love that because I never thought about doing that. And this is really great because I'm for sure is going to practice this one. And I hope that you guys can challenge yourself. This will allow you to free up some extra cash. This allow you to pay down some debt with that cash. It allows you to add some more money to your savings, right? Because now you're not buying unnecessary stuff, that you're still holding on to that money. So you can add to your savings with that. And then it puts more value to the dollar. When you look at your bank balances and there's some extra money in there because you didn't go out and do any extra spending that you things you didn't need, it definitely will show up in your bank balances. And so this way it kind of break all of those mindful spending and all those bad habits, I would call it. I'm just spending money just because. So I just love this. It forces you to add more value to those dollars. And I just love this one. I'm definitely trying this. I don't know if you guys are going to try this. Let me know so that I can make sure that we all on the same page here. But financial fasting, don't spend any money on anything unnecessary. And so again, let's just start off maybe with doing this for a week, doing this for a month, or you could just maybe put this into action maybe every other month and see how well you do and how much further along you will see that you have saved some extra money. I love this. Again, personal finance tips, you guys. Stuff that we all need. And these are just some areas that we don't focus on, but it is very, very, very helpful, right? So I'm sure you guys will agree. So hit like and share on this video, guys, so everybody can get this information. And let's move right on into our second point today. This is real nice and sweet and information that I want you guys to really pay attention to and focus on, right? So I love this one too, the use of a 24-hour rule for major purchases. So how many times do we think that we need to buy something major? We need to, okay, we're going to upgrade and we're going to get a new whatever that might be. And, it's going to cost more than usual. Maybe it's $1,000 gadget, or upgrade a computer, upgrade something that is not necessary. You don't have to have it right now, but you want to do it because, you just feel like you should. Now, so let's give ourselves, it says like a 24-hour. Let's give ourselves some time to think about whether or not do we really need to make this purchase. And let's see, Mr. Strong is on here. How you doing? Let me see if I can read what you are saying. Hey, Elaine, want to learn where I can put my money to make it make money for me without it being high risk. All right. That's a very good question. There are many places that we could do that at. We'll have this conversation. We'll have a consultation with you, Norman. Go online and book that 15-minute consultation on my calendar so I can have you in there, and or we'll just have a, we'll be able to talk when I have a moment. Okay. I like that question. Okay. So yeah. So the 24-hour rule before you make any major purchase, it will delay the process and give you some time to really think it through. Do I need to spend this $1,000 now? Do I really need this thing right now? Do I have to have it, or do I just really want it? So it helps you to align that purchase decision with your values, so that you, before you just jump into it and spend that money, it gives you some time to make that decision. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of times, if you want to spend some money and it's more than usual, if you give yourself time to think about it, you will find more often than not that it might not be necessary at that time. You may not need to upgrade, because what is the point if it's going to do the same thing you're doing, the gadget is doing now? And sometimes this is not necessary. But no, again, we want to do it because we think it's prettier or whatever that is. So let's consider those things, guys. Align those purchase decisions. Take some time out and study the value, and give yourself an opportunity to evaluate your budget to see if it even fits in the budget that you had planned. It might be something you have to delay for a while. And if in fact you really think that you need to get that stuff, you would have already done some other things, save some more money, probably make some extra money, and give yourself that little excess cushion to make this purchase happen. All right. So, and decide whether or not you really want to do this. I love this 24-hour rule. Don't just rush right into it, because sometimes when you do it, I've had a conversation with people who have bought things, just on impulse, and then realizes that I really didn't need to spend this money right now. I could have done something else, or maybe better yet, you could have probably get a better deal if you had waited, right? And I know that happens to most of us. So let's see what Norman Strauss is saying. Again, he says, I always contemplate and ask myself, do I really need it? I love that. I love that. And then he said also, and ask myself, will it make me money? Oh my God, those are such excellent points. Ask yourself, do you really need it? And is it going to make you more money? And those are two good rules to stick by, especially when it's a large purchase. I love those 2 points right there, Norman. That is excellent. And that's a good thing to focus on, guys, before you make large purchases. I just love those 2 points. All right. Okay, so we're talking about 3 tips for personal finance. And these are some things that we don't really focus on, because we all know about saving money and have our budget and stick to it. But these are some real intricate points that I want us to really pay attention to. And I'm definitely, like I said, always talking to myself with these points, right? So let's go into the third one. I love this, love this, love this. You guys are going to love this too. It says carry larger bills, right? Larger denomination. Now, for those of us who keeps cash at times, right? If you have a larger bill, and I know you guys can speak to this, and you don't always want to stop and say, oh, there's something minor that you think you might want to purchase, and then you look and you just have a couple $100 bills, and you think, nah, I'm not going to break this $100 bill for this $10 purchase. And do I really need to spend money on this thing, right? So a lot of times what that does is it keeps you from just frivolously spend money on minor stuff that adds up at the end of the day. You break $100 bill, and before you know it, 20 is here, 20 is there. And then, at the end of the day, you don't even have any change left, right? And then you haven't really seen any of the stuff that you actually spend that money on. This is the true fact. And I know you guys can attest to this. So a lot of times studies show that people that really carry larger bills, they spend less on smaller items that may or may not be necessary. One of those things, again, just like we talked about, So it's like, I think that's a good idea. Then for those of you who don't carry cash at all and just always swiping cards, that's another thing. You don't really see the money leaving, but it's gone. And it's easy. Now it's not even swiping the card, it's tapping the cards. It's so easy to spend it. And you can spend more money on trivial stuff so much easier. So sometimes for that, I would suggest that, just carry some cash, and then you will see it leaving. And then you will question yourself, do I really need to spend this money on whatever that might be? Because it's probably not anything you really want, something you just see and you figured you're just going to get it anyway, just because you have some extra change in your hand, right? And another thing I wanted to point out here, guys, how many of us look at change? Now, you guys out there, I know you can tell me you have change everywhere, especially the ladies. You got a pocket full of change, purse full of change everywhere. Some of us don't even count the changes. I mean, we know it's cash, but we don't even pay attention to it. So again, when you break large bills and you go there and you put that change someplace, and then it just starts stacking up, How many of us take that money, put it together, add it up, take it to the bank, let it sit there and do something, put it in our savings account? How many of you do this, right? And I know you guys can go back and check out the purses and come up with a whole lot of change. And this is money too that we're not focusing on, okay? So that's another thing too about breaking large bills, because we continue to do that and we continue to let those small change or smaller bills sit around and not making any money for us, not doing anything, not figuring out the bottom lines, not getting added to pay down a bill. None of that stuff is happening with it. So let's go back, and look through, pick up all those change and make sure that we put them to good use. Okay, so that's the third point. I just love it. The larger bills, not swiping the cards as easy as it comes through. All right, so let's see. I think Mr. Twain has another comment here. I am careful with using my credit card. Sometimes the rewards aren't even if you have to pay it back with that 27-29% interest rate, so you're paying extra. So that is Mr. Twin on the credit card process. But in this case, I was speaking mostly of like our bank cards, when we do the bank debit cards and we debit, we're swiping that all the time. You're absolutely correct though about credit cards, because using that, you're paying a lot more on that money that you spend. And especially if you use it for items that is not necessary, that's even worse. That is not a great idea for personal finance. Okay, so I agree with the credit card deal. The interest rate is way too high, but when you're dealing too with directly from the bank with that debit card, that's when you're swiping all the time. Hi, Rod. Hey, bro. How are you doing? Thanks for jumping on here. He says, oh, okay. All right, guys. So let's recap these 3 personal finance tips. Very important points. I just love them myself. I'm going to definitely practice more of these and stay focused on them. The first one is the financial fasting. That part is really cool. I have to do that. I am very impulsive. I constantly look at stuff that I want to buy, specifically shoes and clothes, and then thinking that I need to get it. And I'm always doing that. So financial fasting, no, you're not buying any of that stuff. No, you don't need another pair of shoes. No, you don't, why you don't need it. And so I'm definitely doing that one for sure. Hey, Laverne Smith, thanks for jumping on here. And so, guys, let's just try this for a week, a month, maybe a couple of months, and see how that works, right? And let me know. Come back through here and let me know how that works for you. The second point is use the 24-hour rule on major purchases. Think about it. If you give yourself some time, I guess that's a cool long period. Do you really need to get it? Is it, like Mr. Twin said, is it going to make it some money? Why do I need an upgraded version of whatever it is? Is it just because it's prettier? Do I need to get a new color just because it's, So sometimes it's just really trivial stuff that we come up with reason to spend the money. And if we think about it a little bit longer, we probably won't do it, right? So that is the second point. Third, carrying the larger bills, really cool. You don't want to just break $100 just because you want to spend $5 on something you don't need, or a candy bar or something out the store that you really don't need to have right now. That is not cool. So if you do that, that's great. Again, back to the debit cards. If you're not constantly just swiping those, now tapping those just to get stuff that you don't need, then of course it makes you have more money in the bank. You spend less, more money to pay bills down, more money to put in your savings, and it gives you so much more conscious idea of how your money is going in and out and how much you can save and what you can do with it. All right, so those are my 3 points. Johnson, I will definitely try. She definitely is going to try to do it for a week. All right, let's start with a week, Joan. I'm with you. Let's start with a week, and then we can go off into a month, and then let's compare notes and see how well we do this. That's a challenge. All right, so those are my 3 personal finance tips, guys. Very important stuff you're not thinking about, because all you think about, the normal stuff. So that's why I like coming up with different points that we focus on. Okay, so that's it for those 3 points today. Again, that brings us back to any other financial tax information, anything else that will assist you and help you. As Norman Strand mentioned, places to maybe put money that is going to be less risky. Any type of advice like that you guys need, go to PROBY'S.com. Now, there is a 15-minute free consultation. Beyond that, of course, we can talk about what that fee is. But go to PROBY'S.com, go to the calendar, book yourself the 15-minute free consultation for starters, or call the office at 323-290-9034. And then, of course, this brings us, hey, Lerner Smith, hello, hello. Here she is with the hearts, fresh out of Phoenix. I love it. Okay. So that brings us to elainesdesk.com. All of the information you need there for your personal business, individual business, corporation, whatever you want to start or have started. There's a lot of business information there that you guys can go to elainesdesk.com and go through those videos. And again, if you need consultation of any of that stuff, how to get started, how to take it to the next level, and what you need to do next, make sure to give us a call, okay? So I think that's it for today. So join me back here live every Tuesday and Thursday like you always do. That's beautiful. And then, of course, you guys, let's see. Okay. So with that said, this is Thursday. This is, again, heading straight to the end of the week. And I don't understand why these days are just really flying. May just started, and here we are. So anyhow, with that said, I want you guys to have a wonderful rest of your Thursday afternoon. Joe says, thanks for the great information and have a great weekend. And with that said, you guys also have a great Thursday afternoon. Make sure that you find something to really, change your focus over the weekend, which is what I do when I go sing my heart out in karaoke. So do that so you come back fresh on Monday and get the week started. All right. So with that said, you guys take care. Take care of each other and take care of yourself. See you guys next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.